So here we are going to discuss about the concept of legacy system migration workbench, this LSMW. So in this we have, what is LSMW? LSMW is a migration tool wherein we are going to use this tool. We're going to use this tool to get the data from external systems. That is something like non-SAP systems. So it's legacy systems. And then we have the target system is the data where we are going to load the data is into SAP R3, and here we have initial data transfer from non-SAP systems to SAP systems, move data from legacy system to SAP R3, and switch off legacy system. So completely migrate the data from legacy. Any non-SAP system is called legacy system here. Periodic data transfer also will be possible. So we can exchange the data between R3 and other systems using this LSMW concept. Position of data migration requires customizing R3 systems. Customizing must be finalized. So here what exactly happens is, normally also if we have some data in vendors, so if we have some vendor data or if we have some customer data in the previous systems, then there might be huge data. All that huge data have to be migrated completely into SAP system, for which we cannot do it manually. See, normally we created vendor. How did we create a vendor? We just went into the XD01 and then we created a vendor. But if you have to do some 1 lakh vendors, 1 lakh vendors cannot be, it's not possible, technically it's not possible for us to create 1 lakh vendors one after the other by by manually. So what exactly we do is we customize this LSMW workbench. So in this, what exactly happens is the data can be migrated from the other systems, that's legacy systems, to SAP system. So in which we have migration in 3 steps. We have preparatory steps, we have field mapping and rules, and we have data import. So basically we'll have a checklist. So basically we have the data in the legacy system. The data in the legacy system has to be loaded into the data in the into the R3 system. So for this we have preparatory steps, we have checklist, we have field mapping and rules, and data import. This is what we have. So field mapping and rules and data import are done in the LSMW legacy system migration workbench. So this is what we are going to do here. Okay, step 2, step 3. So we are going to do some configuration or some steps we are going to follow, with which when we execute this LSMW, the data is going to be loaded from this legacy system to our R3 system. This is the logic that we have. So LSMW is a tool based on R3. LSMW supports periodic and single data transfer from non-SAP systems to R3 system. LSMW uses standard R3 interfaces. Okay, requirements for the use of LSMW is organizational. We have customizing of R3 applications must be finished. Know the steps of LSMW. This is what we have to have, and you need to have this knowledge of the source system, and we also have to know the knowledge of R3 system. Basically, we can load the data from MS Excel sheet, MS Access, or Notepad. And the example that we are doing right now, the project that we are going to do right now, in that we are going to make use of Notepad as our source system, and with and without separator and code page hierarchical and all. So in this we have which data can be migrated via LSMW. So the data can be migrated from via LSMW through standard batch input, direct input, and all these are the various methods in which we can load the data into the LSMW. So what does LSMW look like? Okay, this is how it looks like. The transaction code to get into the LSMW is legacy system migration workbench is LSMW. The transaction code itself is LSMW. Just like we have F-22 or OX01 and or something like that, we have LSMW is the transaction code. When we enter into it, we will be able to see this project, subproject, and object is what we are going to see in the screen. And in this we will have some 14 steps is what we need to follow one after the other. So these 14 steps actually together forms the entire process. So these 14 steps are preferably should be remembered by you. So maintain object attributes, source structure, source fields, structure relations, field mapping and conversion rules, maintain fixed values in translations, specify files, assign files, read data, display read data, convert data, display converted data, create batch input session and run batch input session. All these things should happen in the all these steps have to be done by us. So we are going to do this step by step execution, and we are going to see how it works out actually. So what LSMW can do is it can organize the data migration project. It can bring the data from non-SAP systems to SAP systems one time or on a regular basis as well. So we have various methods in various techniques to import the data using batch input, direct input, methods for business object BAPI and IDOC. So in our project which we are going to do, we are making use of batch input method to get the data from a non-SAP system to SAP system. So what LSMW can do, LSMW via download and upload, we can get the data, and what it cannot do is it cannot do the outbound transfer. It cannot send the data from R3 to other systems. It can only receive the data from other systems to SAP system. Yeah, exactly. So advantages and strengths of this is there is no coding. That's a major advantage that we have, and this is specifically designed for the functional people. And because we don't only, there is one step in which we have to write the conversion rules, which we might have to use the ABAP program if it is required. Other than that, there is no ABAP code required. So advantages and strengths of Cleanses: migrated data in R3 is consistent, user friendly. Only basis ABAP knowledge, basic ABAP knowledge is required. Even if it is not there, we can manage it. In most cases, only few programming has to be done, and supports data transfer from the most important master and transaction data. Okay, so this is something which is a basic introduction about legacy system migration Workbench, and going forward I'll just show you the screen how it exactly looks like. So in this we have the project, the sub-project and the object. Okay, and in this what we are going to do is we are going to create that object normally, and then the moment you have this projects, let's say I make it as JHS12. So JHS12 project. What we normally have to decide is, before getting into this concept, what is the flat file? Is the flat file in place? We need to have a flat file in place of the source system actually. Okay, so we need to have a flat file, and we need to know it should have the data obviously, and we should know what transaction code we are loading this data to, and we also have to test it. Okay, first we have to test it. So in our example that we are going to take, or we are going to do, we are going to consider a flat file which is there in the D drive. Okay, which is there in the D drive, mk01.txt. This is the one we have. Transaction code for this is mk01. mk01 is the transaction code for which we want to load the data. So what exactly we do is, first we will take one file. Okay, let's say I'll open up that file here. I'll show you. So our requirement would be to first understand this file, and in this file what are all the values that we have. For all these values we need to first test whether it works or not. So we are going to take one record from this. Okay, if you take 190, you have to delete that 190 from here. So I'll take something like 189. Okay, 189. So let me take this same thing. Okay, I'll delete that later. So when a flat file is given to you like this, we have to first go and check in the mk01 whether it is properly working or not. So we are supposed to load this through LSMW. Once we write this LSMW logic and all, automatically the system will pick up that file and it will load the data. But first of all, let us first do it manually. For one record we are doing it manually. So I'll copy this 190 here. I'll copy 0001, 0001 here. So this first three values are being loaded into the first screen. Clear? Now the remaining four values we are loading into the second screen. These are the only values that we are giving here. Four values is what we are giving here. Enter customer. and INR. So we just save it, and once 190 has been created, so this has been successfully created. So it means that the file that is been provided to us, it works. So you have to delete the first record because we have already manually loaded it, so we cannot load it again. With the same vendor number, you will not be able to store one more value again. Okay, so once we have done this, okay, this is working fine. Now we have to execute all this process, and we have to configure everything into the BI system, ECC system.